let's turn to Obamacare. You're out there in Janesville making this pitch, kind of doing the messaging. When is the rollout? Will you roll it out next week?
Yeah, well, I'll let the committees of jurisdiction make the announcement on that. But our committees that write these bills, working very, very closely with the administration, are fine-tuning the legislation. That's what you do when you're near the end of a drafting of a big piece of legislation like this. They're going through the fine-tuning of the legislation. So the Commerce Committee and the Ways and Means Committee are the two key committees in the House. They're running point on this in the House. They're working with their counterparts in the Senate and in the White House. When they're done with their fine-tuning, they'll make that announcement, and then they'll tell us when they're ready to go and move on the legislation. So they'll make that announcement pretty soon, I think.
What do you say to the critics who say you're just doing what Democrats used to do, and that's cramming legislation down the throats in kind of the dark of night, not in a transparent way?
Are you kidding me, Brett? Give me a break.
I'm just telling
Seriously?
you what they say.
No, I know. Okay, let's just review what we've been doing. Last year, in early 2016, we rolled out an Obamacare repeal and replace plan. We called it a better way. Go on the internet and read it. We ran on that plan. That plan resembled Tom Price's legislation that so many people in Congress were co-sponsors of. Then after the election came and we won the election, we started putting that plan into legislative text, having hearings. All these hearings on repealing and replacing Obamacare were in the congressional committee. So we've been doing hearings all year long. Now we're translating the findings of those hearings, that plan, into legislative text. That's the fine-tuning of the drafting that's occurring. And then guess what? This bill's not being written in my office like it was in Harry Reid's office on Christmas Eve in 2009. This bill is being written by the committees that are in charge of health care, which is the regular order process. This bill will go through the committee process, go through the Budget Committee, then go to the floor of Congress under what we call regular order. Right. That is precisely the most transparent and normal way of doing business, which is the opposite of what the Democrats did when they crammed Obamacare through.
All right, well, here is not a liberal Democrat, a Republican senator who says he's trying to get the details.
Wait, let me guess. You're going to quote Rand Paul for a second here. Yeah,
hold on.
Right.
What we think is being hidden from conservatives is that there's a lot of Obamacare light. There's a new entitlement program that will increase at about 5% a year forever. There is also a Cadillac tax, or something similar to the Cadillac tax that was in Obamacare. And there's also an individual mandate, believe it or not. Instead of paying the mandate to the government, they're going to tell you have to pay the mandate by law to an insurance company. So a lot of conservatives will be upset to know that we're keeping those things from Obamacare, and there needs to be an open debate about it.
Is that all true?
No, it's not, and I think he's just kind of, I like Rand, but I think he's looking for a publicity stunt here. What's happening is the committees of jurisdiction are drafting legislation and getting feedback from their members. That's exactly how legislation is supposed to be written. The things he described are just not accurate. And like I said, when the committees write their bills and put their bills out there to mark up, everybody will see what they've done.
Right, but are you worried that if on the tax side or the fight on the Medicaid side that you only have 21 votes to lose and you only have one shot at this with reconciliation? You only have one shot at the apple.
I'm not really worried at all because we're doing this hand in glove with President Trump, with Tom Price, HHS Secretary, with our counterparts in the Senate. We're all working off the same piece of paper, the same legislation. So let me just describe in general what we're talking about here. We're talking about giving the states control of the Medicaid program, which is something that conservatives have been fighting for years. I wrote our budgets. We used to call them the Roadmap for America, then the Path to Prosperity. Every one of my budgets that I wrote as the conservative gold standard for Republicans was to give states control of Medicaid. And then on the tax front, we've long been saying we need to equalize the tax treatment of health care for everybody in America. Right now, the tax code discriminates against people who do not get health care from their jobs. There's a huge tax benefit if you get health care at work. If you got to go buy your health insurance, there's no tax benefit for you. So what conservatives have long said is let's equalize the tax treatment for health care so that it doesn't matter whether you get health care at work or not at work, let's give you the same kind of tax benefit so that you can go buy what you want to buy. You go into a free market as a consumer and buy the plan of your choosing with health savings accounts as well. This is what we have long stood on as conservatives. It is the plan that we ran on in all of 2016 that we said said, if we get the chance of having a Republican president, a Republican House, and a Republican Senate, we're going to repeal and replace Obamacare, and this is what we're going to replace it with. Well, guess what? We are keeping that promise, and that is exactly what we're doing here.
But you're also saying it's going to be a fight over the next few weeks.
It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight with people who want Obamacare. We got a choice to make. Do we want to keep Obamacare, or do we want to repeal and replace Obamacare? The president has been extremely clear that we're going to repeal and replace it with a better system that gives people choice and competition that's not run by government.
Obamacare
where people have freedom. I think that's a publicity stunt as far as I'm concerned.
All right. More with Speaker Ryan on a couple of other issues coming up after a short break.